Dear friend, if you watched my previous video about why your manifestations aren't working, you know by now that this isn't about doing more techniques or trying harder. This is about something much deeper. This is about consciousness. And in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to share with you what I've learned from studying the great spiritual teachers, particularly Wayne Dyer, about how manifestation actually works when you understand it from the level of consciousness rather than the level of doing. This isn't going to be a list of steps or a formula to follow. This is about a fundamental shift in how you see yourself, how you see the universe, and how you understand the creative process. Because when you change the way you look at manifestation, manifestation itself changes. And it becomes not something you do, but something that flows naturally from who you are. So let's begin with the most important truth of all. Truth number one. You must manifest wholeness, not FOR wholeness. This is where most people get stuck, and it's the most important shift you'll ever make. Most people approach manifestation from a place of lack. They feel incomplete, inadequate, not enough, and they believe that getting the thing they want will finally make them whole. The relationship will complete them. The money will make them secure. The success will prove they're worthy. But here's what Wayne Dyer taught, and here's what every spiritual tradition has taught for thousands of years. You cannot create from emptiness and expect to receive fullness. You cannot manifest from lack and expect to experience abundance, because the universe doesn't respond to what you want. The universe responds to what you are. When you're vibrating at the frequency of I don't have and I'm not enough, that's what you create more of. Not because the universe is punishing you, but because your consciousness is tuned to that station. You're broadcasting lack and you're receiving lack. But when you shift, when you truly shift to the understanding that you are already whole, already complete, already enough exactly as you are right now, everything changes. Because now you're not trying to get something to fill a void. You're creating from overflow. You're manifesting as an expression of your wholeness, not as a desperate attempt to achieve it. Wayne Dyer used to say, "You'll see it when you believe it, not the other way around. You don't believe it when you see it. You see it when you believe it." And what must you believe? That you are already, right now, in this moment, a complete and whole expression of the divine. So the practice isn't trying to get something you don't have. The practice is recognizing what you already are. And from that recognition, from that consciousness of wholeness, manifestation becomes natural, not forced. Truth number two, align with source energy first, then watch what unfolds. There's a beautiful teaching in many spiritual traditions that says we are not separate from God, from source, from the universe, from infinite intelligence, whatever name you give to the creative power of existence. We are individualized expressions of it. We are, as Wayne Dyer often said, spiritual beings having a human experience. And when you truly understand this, when you feel this in your bones, manifestation becomes completely different. Because you're not a separate little person trying to convince a distant God to give you things. You're an expression of the creative force itself, learning to consciously align with your true nature. When you align with source energy, you align with the field of infinite possibilities. You align with the intelligence that orchestrates galaxies and grows oak trees from acorns. And that intelligence knows how to manifest what serves your highest good far better than your limited human mind does. So how do you align with Source? Not through striving, not through effort, through stillness, through silence, through the practice of getting quiet enough to feel the presence of the divine within you, through meditation, through prayer, through simply sitting in nature and remembering that you are part of all of this, not separate from it. Wayne Dyer would spend time every morning in meditation connecting with what he called source energy, not asking for things, not visualizing outcomes, just connecting, just aligning, just remembering who he truly was beyond the ego, beyond the personality, beyond the roles and identities. And from that place of alignment, everything else flowed. Not because he was trying to make it happen, but because he was allowing it to happen through him. So before you try to manifest anything, ask yourself, am I aligned with Source? Am I connected to my true nature? Am I operating from my highest self? Or am I operating from my ego, my fear, my sense of separation? Because when you're aligned, manifestation isn't work, it's flow. Truth number 3, feel it before you see it. This is living from the end. Neville Goddard taught about living from the end, and Wayne Dyer embraced this teaching beautifully. The idea is simple but profound. You must feel the reality of what you desire before it manifests in physical form. Not hope for it, not wish for it. Feel it as already true. But here's where most people misunderstand this. They think this means pretending, faking it, putting on a mask of happiness while inside they're still feeling lack. That's not what this is. Living from the end means inhabiting the consciousness of the person who already has what you desire. It means asking yourself, how would I feel if this were already true? How would I think? How would I move through the world? What would I believe about myself? What would I no longer worry about? And then you cultivate those feelings, those thoughts, those beliefs now, not as a technique to manipulate reality, but as a practice of aligning your consciousness with the reality you're calling forth. If you want to manifest abundance, you must feel abundant now, not when the money comes. Now, and you can feel abundant by appreciating what you already have, by recognizing the abundance that already exists around you, by shifting from scarcity consciousness to abundance consciousness. If you want to manifest a loving relationship, you must feel loved now. And you can do that by loving yourself, by recognizing the love that already exists in your life, by being the love you wish to receive. This isn't about denying your current circumstances. It's about not letting your current circumstances dictate your consciousness. Your circumstances are a result of your past consciousness. Your future circumstances will be a result of your current consciousness. So if you want different results, you must embody different consciousness. You must feel it before you see it. You must live from the end, not from the current middle. And when you do this genuinely, not as a technique, but as a shift in being, the physical manifestation follows, not because you forced it, but because you became an energetic match for it. Truth number 4, release attachment to the outcome and trust divine timing. This is perhaps the most paradoxical teaching, and it's the one most people resist. You're told to desire what you want, to visualize it, to feel it, and then you're told to let it go. How does that make sense? Here's the truth: desire is beautiful. Intention is powerful, but attachment is poison. Attachment says, I must have this specific thing in this specific way at this specific time, or I won't be okay. Attachment is the ego's need for control. It's rooted in fear. Fear that you won't get what you need. Fear that you won't be okay without it. Fear that the universe won't provide. But detachment, which is very different from not caring, says, I have a preference. I have a desire. I'm taking action toward it. And I trust that what's meant for me will come. In the perfect timing, in the perfect way, even if it's different from what I imagined. Detachment is rooted in trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in the universe. Trust in the intelligence that's orchestrating all of this. Wayne Dyer taught that when you're attached, you're trying to control God. You're saying, I know better than the universe what I need and when I need it. But when you detach, when you surrender, you're saying, Thy will be done. I have my desires and I'm taking action, but I trust the divine orchestration of my life. And here's what's beautiful. The moment you truly release attachment, the moment you genuinely surrender the outcome, that's often when things start to shift, because you've stopped blocking the flow with your desperate energy. You've stopped strangling your manifestation with need. And even if the thing you wanted doesn't come, something better does. Or you grow into someone who no longer needs that thing. Or you realize that the delay was divine protection. Divine timing is real, dear friend. What you think you want right now might not be what's best for you right now. The universe has a broader view than you do. Trust that. Trust the timing. Trust that what's meant for you is already on its way, and it will arrive at the perfect moment. Truth number 5. Follow your soul's desires, not your ego's wishes. There's a big difference between what your ego wants and what your soul needs. And the universe responds to your soul, not your ego. Your ego wants things to prove your worth, to gain approval, to feel superior, to fill the emptiness inside. Your ego wants the impressive job title, the big house, the relationship that looks perfect on Instagram, the life that makes other people envious. But your soul wants growth, expansion, love, contribution, authenticity, purpose. Your soul wants experiences that help you evolve, that crack you open, that teach you what you came here to learn. And sometimes, often, actually, what your ego wants is in direct conflict with what your soul needs. So you keep trying to manifest this specific outcome that your ego has decided it wants, and it doesn't happen. And you think manifestation doesn't work. But really, your soul is protecting you. Your soul knows that what you're asking for isn't in alignment with your highest good. I've seen this countless times. Someone desperately wants a specific relationship, and it doesn't work out. And years later, after they've healed and grown, they look back and say, "Thank God that didn't happen. That person was completely wrong for me." Or someone wants a specific career path, and every door closes. And then they end up on a completely different path that aligns perfectly with their gifts and purpose. And they realize, if I'd gotten what I thought I wanted, I would have missed my true calling. So here's the practice. Instead of demanding specific outcomes, start asking, what does my soul need? What wants to emerge through me? What is my highest good? What serves my growth and evolution? And then trust that. Trust that your soul knows better than your ego. Trust that what's truly meant for you, what's in alignment with your soul's purpose, will manifest. And what's not meant for you, what would actually hinder your growth, won't. Wayne Dyer lived from his soul, not his ego. And because of that, his life was a powerful demonstration of what becomes possible when you align with your true purpose, rather than chasing ego validation. Truth number 6, do the inner work. This is not optional. I said this in the previous video, but it bears repeating because it's so crucial. Manifestation does not bypass healing. You cannot positive think your way around trauma. You cannot affirm your way past unresolved wounds. If you have worthiness wounds, you will sabotage success until you heal them. If you have abandonment trauma, you will push away love until you address it. If you have deep beliefs about scarcity, you will lose money as fast as you make it until you reprogram those beliefs. The inner work, the healing, the shadow integration, the belief reprogramming, the emotional processing. This is not preparation for manifestation. This is manifestation. This is the deepest level of creation. You're creating a new internal reality, and your external reality will follow. So yes, visualize. Yes, affirm. Yes, set intentions. But also go to therapy. Do shadow work. Journal about your childhood. Process your grief. Forgive those who hurt you. Forgive yourself for the ways you've hurt yourself. Reprogram the beliefs that were installed in you before you were old enough to question them. This is sacred work. This is soul work. And it's the work that creates lasting transformation, not just temporary manifestations. Wayne Dyer spent years doing inner work. He wrote entire books about releasing the past, overcoming limiting beliefs, healing childhood wounds. He didn't skip the inner work. He made it central to his teaching. So don't rush past this part. Don't think you can bypass it with techniques. The techniques are beautiful, but they're not substitutes for healing. They're complements to it. Heal yourself. Become whole. And from that wholeness, manifestation becomes effortless. Truth number 7, take inspired action, not desperate action. Here's another paradox. Manifestation requires action, but not just any action. Inspired action. Desperate action is frantic, forced, fear-based. It's trying to make something happen because you don't trust it will happen on its own. It's pushing, manipulating, controlling, and that energy repels what you want. But inspired action is different. Inspired action flows from alignment. It's action you feel called to take, not action you force yourself to take. It's action that feels right, that feels aligned, that feels like the next natural step. Inspired action comes from the whisper of intuition, not the shout of fear. It comes from your connection to source, not from your disconnection and panic. So yes, take action. If you want a relationship, put yourself out there. Go on dates. Work on becoming the partner you want to attract. If you want a new career, apply for jobs. Develop new skills. Network. Take steps. But notice the energy behind your action. Are you acting from trust or from fear? From alignment or from desperation? From inspiration or from schuld? And here's how you know. Inspired action feels good even before you see results. It feels like you're moving in the right direction. It has a quality of flow. Desperate action feels heavy, forced, and you're only doing it because you think you have to. Wayne Dyer taught about the difference between living from your ego and living from your highest self. Inspired action comes from your highest self. Desperate action comes from ego. So before you act, pause. Get still. Connect with Source. And then ask, what action wants to be taken? Not what should I do, but what wants to emerge? What feels aligned? And then do that. Trust that. And release attachment to the outcome. Truth number 8. Embody it now. Live as if it's already true. This is different from pretending. This is about embodying the consciousness, the energy, the way of being of the person who already has what you desire. If you had the abundance you desire, how would you carry yourself? What would you believe about yourself? How would you treat people? What would you no longer worry about? What decisions would you make differently? And then start being that person now, not when it manifests. Now, if you want to manifest confidence, start carrying yourself with confidence now. Not fake confidence. Real confidence that comes from knowing your worth. If you want to manifest peace, start cultivating peace now. In your morning practice, in your responses to life, in your inner dialogue. If you want to manifest abundance, start living with an abundance mentality now. Be generous. Appreciate what you have. Stop hoarding. Stop operating from scarcity. This is what Wayne Dyer meant when he said, you don't get what you want, you get what you are. So become what you want to be. Embody it, live it. Now, not as a performance, not as a technique, as a genuine shift in your way of being. And when you do this, when you truly embody the consciousness of what you're manifesting, the physical form follows. Because you've become an energetic match. You've become the person who naturally has that thing. Truth number 9. Understand that you are always manifesting. The question is what? This is crucial to understand. You're not learning how to manifest. You're already manifesting. Every moment, every thought, every belief, every emotion. You're creating your reality constantly. The question isn't, how do I manifest? The question is, what am I currently manifesting? And is it what I actually want? If you're manifesting struggle, it's because you're in the consciousness of struggle. If you're manifesting lack, it's because you're in the consciousness of lack. If you're manifesting chaos, it's because you're in the consciousness of chaos. You're not broken. You're not bad at manifesting. You're actually very good at it. You're just manifesting what you don't want because your consciousness is tuned to the wrong frequency. So the work isn't learning to manifest. The work is becoming conscious of what you're already manifesting and then shifting your consciousness to align with what you actually want to create. This is why awareness is the first step to change. You can't change what you're not aware of. So start noticing, what am I thinking about most of the day? What do I believe about myself, about life, about what's possible for me? What emotions am I predominantly experiencing? Because that, your dominant thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, that's what you're manifesting. And if you don't like what you're manifesting, you have the power to shift it, not by forcing different results, but by shifting your consciousness. And when your consciousness shifts, your reality must shift. It's law. Truth number 10. Remember who you really are. This changes everything. At the deepest level, manifestation is about remembering your true nature. You are not a limited human trying to convince an external God to give you things. You are a spiritual being, an individualized expression of the creative force of the universe, temporarily experiencing life in physical form. You are not separate from Source. You are Source, expressing itself as you. And Source is infinite, abundant, creative, loving, whole, complete. When you remember this, when you truly remember this, not just intellectually, but in the depth of your being, everything changes. You stop begging. You stop pleading. You stop feeling unworthy. Because you remember, I am an expression of the divine. I am whole. I am enough. I am connected to infinite intelligence and infinite possibility. And from that remembrance, manifestation becomes not something you do, but something you allow. Not something you force, but something that flows naturally from your true nature. Wayne Dyer spent his life teaching this one fundamental truth. You are not your body. You are not your thoughts. You are not your circumstances. You are a spiritual being, a piece of God experiencing life in human form. And when you live from that awareness, when you make decisions from that consciousness, when you create from that understanding, your life becomes a demonstration of what's possible when you align with your divine nature. So the practice, dear friend, is not about doing more. It's about being more aligned, more aware, more connected, more you, the real you, the spiritual you, the infinite you. And from that being, everything you need flows to you naturally. Not because you forced it, but because you became it. Let me bring this all together for you. Manifestation, when understood from the level of consciousness that Wayne Dyer taught, is not about manipulation. It's not about tricks or techniques. It's not about convincing God to give you what you want. It's about aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. It's about shifting from lack to wholeness. It's about connecting with source energy. It's about feeling the reality before you see it. It's about releasing attachment and trusting divine timing. It's about following your soul, not your ego. It's about doing the inner healing work. It's about taking inspired action. It's about embodying the consciousness of what you desire. It's about becoming aware that you're always creating. And most of all, it's about remembering who you truly are. When you approach manifestation from this consciousness, it's not work, it's not struggle, it's flow, it's allowing, it's natural. Things you need start appearing. Doors start opening. The right people show up at the right time. Opportunities unfold. Not because you forced them, but because you aligned with the flow of life itself. This is what Wayne Dyer demonstrated through his own life. He didn't just teach these principles, he lived them. And his life, the impact he made, the people he helped, the legacy he created, all of it flowed from this deep understanding of how consciousness creates reality. So I invite you, dear friend, to take what resonates from this teaching. You don't have to apply all of it at once. Pick one truth, one shift, one practice, and begin there. Maybe you start with recognizing your wholeness. Maybe you commit to a morning practice of aligning with Source. Maybe you practice feeling abundant before the money comes. Maybe you work on releasing attachment. Maybe you do the inner healing work you've been avoiding. Wherever you start is perfect, because this is a journey, not a destination. And every step you take toward greater consciousness, toward deeper alignment, toward remembering who you truly are, every step changes your reality. You are not here to struggle. You are not here to force. You are not here to manipulate reality into giving you what you want. You are here to align with your divine nature and allow your good to flow to you naturally. You are here to create from wholeness, not for wholeness. You are here to remember that you are a spiritual being with infinite creative potential. And when you live from that truth, manifestation becomes as natural as breathing. Not someday, right now. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your willingness to see things differently. Thank you for your openness to this deeper understanding. You are exactly where you need to be, and everything you need is already on its way to you. Trust that, feel that, be that, and watch what unfolds with infinite love and respect for the divine being that you are.